Okay, good evening to most of you, and good morning to some of you. So happy to be here today. So just before we start, I'd like to do a very simple ritual that we do before we do any kind of Dharma sharing. So it's called to pay homage. Yeah, for those of us who are Buddhist, definitely we are paying homage to the Buddha, and for those who are non-Buddhist, we can pay homage to our guru or to our God. And for those who are non-religious at all, so you can pay homage to the person that we have a high respect for. So please join me to recite this sentence 3 times by joining your palms together. Homage to the Blessed One, the Arahant, the perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the Blessed One, the Arahant, the perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the Blessed One, the Arahant, the perfectly enlightened one. Okay, thank you. Now you may relax your hands. So first of all, I would like to, if it's possible for you, I'd like you to maybe turn on your camera so that I can see some faces to get some response. Okay, so you might help me for that if it's okay for you. Yeah, thank you. I can see many faces now. Thank you very much. All right, so hope everybody is doing well now. It has been a chaotic, since the pandemic started. So it has been a chaotic time for most of us. Yeah, I can feel that many of us are becoming tired, and we actually, well, for me, actually, I feel like I need more kind of encouragement. Actually, we need more kind of a positive energy from the people around us. Like during the Chinese New Year, I remember. So we have a kind of like we have an online gathering, with some of my old schoolmates. Like that was a long time ago. I remember there was one of my friends. He was telling us that he was considering. Actually he was asking my advice in a sense. Yeah, he was saying that, well, 法师, I'm not sure if I should change my job. Or should I hang on to my current position? And I ask him, so why is that? What's the reason that make you want to feel like you want to change a job? I said, well, I've been in my same job for the last 10 years and I'm becoming like a supervisor now. I don't think I get more kind of training or any career kind of upbringing that I can foresee in the near future. So I think maybe it's a good time for me to try a new job. I will like, well, what makes you think that you're not happy in the job area? And then you're thinking about it, well, then suddenly everybody in the group kind of like have a little bit of a complaint about their jobs. And I think it's kind of general for people like us now. Yeah, we like to see, we kind of come to a static point and see we want to change job, want to stay, want to move, or we want to. So this is time that we are thinking about it. And also there's, for example, my sister, she's doing business on her own. So she was, for the past 2 years, the pandemic was actually have a lot of bad effect. Yeah, we see a lot of economy effect in Malaysia. Many business were being actually being going down. So she was thinking about whether she should close the business or to continue it. So there was this kind of struggle and this kind of decision that we seem to have to make, during the pandemic time. So my question now is, so yeah, definitely we are living in this era of uncertainty. We're living in this time of change. So how are we going to respond to the challenges that we are inherited? Somehow is, forcing on us, we have no choice but to face these kind of challenges and problems. How are we going to respond to these challenges? Like my friend, in the group, whether to change a job or whether, you want to, like in Chinese, we say the 换跑道, like to try a new direction and start all over again. Should we do that or should we not? And so this is a thing that these are a few questions that I want to discuss for tonight. So actually, let me begin by telling you a story that I heard of like a few months ago. So a few months ago, one of my friends, he was introducing to me this kind of piano music. Yeah. So I was telling him that, I want to concentrate on my study. Do you have can you suggest to me any kind of good music I can listen to, like a piano? Okay, I like piano. So he gave me then he showed me a CD. He gave me a CD. He said, listen to this. And I'm like, okay. He said like 1975 in Germany, Keith Jarrett concert. Well, this is the first time I heard about this name. So, okay. And then, so I turned it on. I played the CD and I listened to it. And at the same time, my friend told me that, well, you know that this is the best selling piano solo in history. I'm like, wow, they must be great. So I listened to it. Well, and then he asked me, so how do you feel about it? Of course, I felt like, well, I mean, this is great, this is a best-selling album. What do you expect? Definitely it must be good. You have like a kind of a serenity. You can feel at a peaceful time, and then you also have a lot of energetic kind of feeling coming from the piano itself. And then my friend told me that, well, actually, this piano performance, this piano concert was supposed to be a failure. I'm like, what? What do you mean by failure? And then, well, I mean, if you don't believe me, go and Google it, key in Keith Jarrett concert. So I did, Oh, actually, he was right. Yeah. What happened was, it was in January 1975. Well, what happened is this American jazz pianist who was quite famous at that time. So he was doing a world tour to do his piano performance. He's a solo piano performer. So what happened that night is he just arrived in a small city in Germany, and it was the rain. He was having a heavy rain. He haven't had a good sleep for a few nights because he was traveling on the plane, got jet lag and everything. So what happened was when he arrived to the concert hall, he realized that the piano he ordered for the concert that night was not the one that he ordered. They got the wrong piano. Well, okay, that's the first thing. And what made it worse was when he tried to play the piano, he found that some of the keys, like, I don't know what he called, the black keys. Okay, I don't play piano, but some of the keys actually are not functioning. Like, you press on it, like it gives you a down sound, a very down sound. It didn't really play properly. And he said, oh, no way, there's no way that I'm going to play with this. So he stormed out of the concert hall, went back to his car and prepared to leave. All right, because we can see that he's going to cancel the whole performance that night. So what happened was there was this young German girl who was actually the organizer committee of that concert that night. Yeah? So he came knocking on the car door, the window, and he said that, well, can you please reconsider? We have 1,400 participants tonight. People come to hear you. We are a small town. This is the only chance that we are able to meet a master like you to play a live concert. And then you're like, okay, actually, Keith Jarrett, at the time, he got a really serious back pain because he didn't get good enough. He didn't get a good rest for the past few nights. And then after considering for a while, he said, okay, just for you. So he told the girl, just for you, I will do it tonight. So, okay, when the concert began, what happened was he knew there was a very bad piano. There's no way that he could ever play good. So instead of, changing his plan, well, he go according to plan, but he tried to avoid those piano key that doesn't work. Okay, so he concentrated on the middle one and tried the best he could to play the song that he wanted to play. And because the piano was smaller than the size it was supposed to be, so in order to make it stronger, the sound to get to the back of the audience, so he had to stand up and actually pound. You can pound on a key. So you can imagine the scenario. So what happened is initially the piano music goes slowly like this, like start slow, soft tune, and slowly, and then when it's standing up, you can feel the energetic atmosphere starting to change. And so that night was a history, that changed everything. And the record of that concert was what my friend landed to me, was that in that CD, and I was listening to even after 40 years. So it was one of the most successful piano concert in the jazz piano history, as far as I told you. Okay, so what I learned from this story is that, sometimes we are facing challenges. We might be in a mess, might be in a chaos, but instead of giving up and so no way I'm going to do this, but we see the possibility of us trying to go around it and try our best to to create opportunity to finish what we started to do. Yeah. So when we see very clearly from this example is that instead of giving up initially because it didn't go according to his plan, so he changed his mind to what? To embrace the chaos, to accept that, okay, it's imperfect and I'm going to do it by my best. And the more important thing is because he was touched by this teenager who was so eager for him to play. So he said, well, okay, just for you, I'm going to play tonight. So that is it, to embrace the chaos and to do it for other people. So he has that kind of he has that kind of goal in his mind that he wants to achieve, that he wants to do something for the people. All right, so this is the piano concert I was talking about, yeah? Cave Jared. So that's a topic that I want to talk about tonight, yeah? So I'm going to talk about 3 points. The first thing is, when we are facing with a lot of uncertainties and chaos, the first thing you might do is to correct our mindset. How are we going to change our mindset to become more positive and more embracing? And second part I'm going to talk about is the sense of purpose. Yeah. And the last thing we'll talk about is to helping others. All right. So these are the 3 ways that I think that we can help us to cope with our stress. Yeah. And help us to embrace the chaos that when bad things happen to us. So to embrace the process, whether it's good or bad. All right, correct mindset. Yeah, in Buddhism we have a term for this. We call it the right view. Yeah, it's from a Noble Eightfold Path. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. So this is the first noble path. Yeah, in the training of Buddhism, it's about how do we find the right view to see what happened to us and how do we live actually meaningful life. So the first thing important that we have to bear in mind is how to form the correct mindset. Okay, I remember just before the pandemic started about 2.5 years ago. I remember my mom, who was already that time, now she's 78 years old. Yeah, I remember she always, when we talk to her, she always complained. And she would complain, sometimes she complained to me that, I'm too old, I can't do anything, I can't go out with my friends anymore, I can't go out and enjoy breakfast with my friends anymore, I can't even do my usual exercise anymore. It seems like for her, at that point, she was thinking that because of her age, yeah, she couldn't do the things that she used to enjoy. So for me, every time I heard about this, yeah, I try to comfort her by saying that, okay, Mom, I know how you feel, right? Getting old is, it's not a good feeling. You feel a weakness in the body. We feel that many things we would like to do, but we cannot do anymore. But, we ought to do what we can do, giving our age or whatever, from people who are teenagers, teenagers have a thing they're supposed to do. For people in the middle age, the people in middle age that they can do, they're supposed to do. And the same for people of old age, for 80 years old, 90 years old. Then, of course, there are things that we can do. And then Mama said, so like what? So what happened is after that, so we bought our mother, our brother and sister, so we bought our mom a tablet. Yeah. So it was an iPad initially. And we taught her how to use it, like how to use a WeChat, how to read feeds on Facebook, and how to go online. And after a while, she get used to it, and she really enjoy it. So even during the pandemic, like most of us are living outstation, and so we couldn't see her. And she started to, I think, to have a life that actually she can feel that she's connected to us. Yeah. So somehow, even though she was complaining that at her age, there's nothing much she could do, but she found a way that she could really do to connect to us, to feel the emotional connection with the family. So I like a quote that I read sometime before that says that life is like a book. So we just have to know when to turn the page. Yeah, life is like a book. We just have to know when to turn the page. So this is the right view. Yeah, no matter we are getting old, our body are getting weaker each day. That happens to all of us. So we gotta know that. So we're gonna start a new chapter. Instead of being negative all the time, we just turn the page around and say, okay, now we start a new chapter. Now we start a new page. So I think that's the kind of correct mindset that we should have. Yeah, like okay. So there's also a story in a sutra, in Buddhism, that talk about how the Buddha actually helped someone to change their mind. Actually, in Buddhism, what the Buddha taught, actually you can summarize in one sentence. It's just like the Buddha always taught us how to form a correct mindset. If you want to summarize Buddha's teaching, it's how to form a correct mindset to see our world and to see ourselves. So the story goes like this. There was this woman who has lost her son due to a disease at that time in India. So she was so sad. She was in deep grief. So she just wanted to kill herself. So by no means that she could get out of it. And then by chance, she came to meet the Buddha. And the Buddha listened to her problem. And then the Buddha understand what she wanted. So he asked her, so you wanted your son to come back to you, right? He said, yes. Oh, my Lord, yeah, Buddha, yes, please help me. You're the Almighty One. Please bring my son back to me. Then the Buddha said, okay, I can do that. So I can do that, he said. So, but you have to find me something first, yeah? I want you to go out to each of the village, to each house, and ask for something. Ask for what? You go to each house and you ask them if there's I want you to ask for some grain of rice for me, yeah, a handful of grain of rice. So go to a house and you ask the people if in their households there's nobody have passed away in that household, then if you can ask them to give you a handful of grain of rice, bring it back to me, then I can help you. So that lady, she went around to all villages, to all houses, knock on each door, and the first thing she asked was, so has anybody died in the house? But every time, without exception, she would get the answer of yes. My grandfather died, my mother died, my son, my daughter, my friends. Every house that she went to, she couldn't find anyone, any place without death happening before. And by just doing so, she came to realize, what the Buddha was trying to teach her. So we have to see that, yeah, death is a natural process of human being. The Buddha was teaching her the impermanence, the things will form, and then the things will change, and then it will decay, and at the end it will just disappear. This is a natural cycle. of life, of everything that is in the universe. So by understanding the impermanence of the universe, then we start to can have empathy for other people. Yeah, we start to see that, oh, we are all human beings. We suffer the same thing, and we are not alone. Yeah, we are not alone. So we can be more bearable to the suffering that we are having now. So this is the Buddha's method of helping someone in deep grief. Yeah. So if we try to see from the point of view of the modern psychology, of especially on the grief psychology, you can say that, you know, someone who has lost somebody, like in a process of grief, we have like it is said that there are 5 stages or processes, but it's not exactly stages because, you know, it goes intertwined in themselves. Yeah, it doesn't go according to the sequence. It's like a denial, a state of anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Yeah. So these are the stages or the different conditions that someone who is grieving is going through. So by giving the person the correct mindset, you know, the right view, Buddha was able to actually help the woman, help other people to overcome that kind of suffering that nobody is really unbearable kind of a suffering. Yeah. So now we come to a question like, okay, so how actually can we give advice to people who have a negative thoughts, who are always in a negative emotional state? Can we do anything to help? Yes. The Buddha just showed us a very simple method. Yeah. Like in the story I just told you, like the Buddha, what he did was he first listened. Yeah. He listened to the problems and the woman was going to tell him. When the woman say that, yes, I want my back, I want my son come back to me alive. Yeah. Instead of telling her, no, there's no way, you know, it's impossible. You know, you're against the law of nature. But instead of saying that, you know, he didn't deny her. The Buddha listened to her, you know, to understand, giving her empathy. And that is the first step of helping people to overcome negative emotional state. Yeah. So I don't know, especially for monks, I'm telling straight from my heart, monks love to give advice. You know, we always think that we want to save people. So whenever we go out, whenever people come for us for problems, we will say, yeah, I give you advice. I will help you. I will save you. But most of the time, we found that what people want is being heard. Yeah, think about it. What people actually want is being heard. Most people don't need our advice. Yeah? So please remember that. So the Buddha actually showed us a very good example of listening. Yeah, we want recognition. Yeah, we want a purpose. We want to find the purpose of living. Just like my friend, as I say in the beginning, when in a group meeting, he was telling us that, oh, I don't know if I want to change my job. I don't know if I want to stay in the same position. So actually, he knew what he wanted to do. Yeah, he actually knew the answer, but he wanted to be heard. He wanted to be sympathized. Yeah, he wanted to say, yeah, I understand you, my friend. You know, we're all going through the same stage. Yes, I know. I mean, that's enough. You know, if you can do that, say, yes, my friend, let me give a hug. You know, you know, if I was like still 20 years ago, you would say, like, yeah, let's go out. You know, let's have a drink or something. I mean, that's it, you know. Guys are very simple, easy to heal. That's it, and that's all we want. So that's what I say is the mindset. Yeah. Sometimes we can use the same way to help ourselves, and in the other way around, turn it around. We can help the people around us to go through a difficult time. So the most important thing is to change the mindset. Yeah, like a pianist just now. Yeah, when you were facing the kind of almost unplayable piano, he's still, you know, okay, I know this is a broken piano. Okay, so I avoid those bad keys and try my best to play within a boundary. And he created one of the masterpieces of that time. So this is the important mindset. So, and then how about a sense of purpose? Yeah. the sense of purpose. So you say that, yeah, okay, Sifu, you told me that we have to accept life is difficult, life is suffering. So I accept it, and I try to be flexible next time. But then what? What's next? So what? So what I'm trying to say is, even though we accept, okay, the suffering, the difficulties that we are kind of facing now, we still need to have a sense of purpose of what we are doing. Yeah. What do you mean by that? Yeah. There was this very interesting news article I read a few months ago from a magazine, an online magazine. The title was Dinosaur Surgeon. A surgeon is a doctor, yeah, who do operation. So I was really attracted by the title. What is a dinosaur surgeon? Okay. What happened was, there was one day, there was this mother. So she brought a kid with her to this toy shop, yeah, in the town. And the boy was crying so sadly, and he was holding a broken dinosaur toy in his hand. So you know what happened, right? The mother bought the toy for the boy as a present, and he broke it. And he was so sad, he couldn't fix it. So the mother brought the boy back in order to get a replacement, yeah, for the toy. So what happened was, at that time, the toy shop, there was this two salesperson, they were there. And then when they saw the boy, one of them told the boy, "Oh, you are lucky today. Let me tell you why. Because we are dinosaur specialists. We are the only dinosaur surgeon in the city, in the town. Let me help you." So they carefully, get the dinosaur toy from the boy, and then they go behind the counter and start doing operation. Yeah. So one was doing the operation, and the other one was actually doing the broadcast. Wow, now we inject the medicine to the body. Oh, and now we take out the body part, and now we got to sew back the hand. Wow, making like a live announcement, like an event. You can see the eye of the boy starting going bigger and bigger, waiting in excitement. Is he gonna heal? Is he gonna heal? Right? Yeah, but of course we know what actually was happening was the guy at the back of the counter, he actually went to the store and he found a new toy, and replaced it. So at the end, they took the operated dinosaur, fresh and new, back to the boy. And immediately they saw the boy broke into laughter, the kind of smiling face that you could never forget in your life. What kind of happiness the boy was feeling at that time. So this story, this interesting story actually broke out, and it was in the news. And then one of the reporter actually went to interview these two salesperson, and they asked them, "Why did you do that? This is not part of the job. You could just, for normal people, you just simply, go to the rack or the store and grab one and pass it to them. That's it. Case closed, finished. Why do you take the hassle? Like the game, play the game, waste your time to play the game with this child." And without hesitation, one of the salesperson just said, "Well, actually, I believe that we are not only selling toy, we are actually selling happiness. Yeah, we are not selling toy. We are here selling happiness." So that is the purpose. That is a reason for them to do this extra step to actually bring happiness to the boy. So you can imagine, what kind of impact the boy will have in his life about being helped at the most hopeless time. I think he will remember this moment in the whole life. I think he will definitely help other people in need in the future. So this is the impact we have. Yeah. So now talking about the purpose of a job. Yes, this is the purpose of, like you say, like even as a salesperson, if you say that this is a boring job, and we just stand there waiting for customers and service them, has no meaning. But think about it. Are you just there selling toys, or are you there selling happiness or something else? There's a difference between having a purpose and not having a purpose in the job. All right. I also have another high school friend. Oh, I got so many high school stories. So he's a teacher now. He's a middle high school teacher. So there was one time he told me that, sometimes they had to deal with what we call these problematic students. Yeah, those students who got really bad grades and have no interest in studying and who refuse to study. So they have to talk to these students, try to guide them out with the problems, to understand what's happening to them, try to help them. And he told me one time that, he always find it very, very difficult to answer one of the questions the student always asked him. The question was, why? Why do I have to study? I'm sure we get a question, if you're a parent or a teacher, I'm sure you have got a question before. So, okay, let me tell you what, I think that we always give two kind of questions, two kind of answers to this question. The first I can imagine is, okay, the first type of answer is, well, we can tell the children that, yes, if you study hard now, you get good grades, and then you can go to good universities, and then you graduate with flying colors, and then you find a good job, and you'll be earning a lot of money in the future. Right, that's the first standard answer we give them. Or in the other way around, well, some parents or teachers may tell the children, some may tell children, like, okay, don't worry, what will be, will be. Yeah, remember the song that I'm sure most of us are very familiar with. The song is like, que sera sera, meaning is what que sera sera. That means what will be, will be. It means it doesn't matter, just do what you're supposed to do now, and your life will find the right way to you. So these are the two kinds of, answers that we always get. Yeah, but does it really give us a reason of why we want to study, or does it really give us a reason of why we are doing the job, or why we are doing what we are doing now? Yeah, I don't think that is a very sufficient answer. This is a very satisfactory answer. I don't think so. Right, for me, I remember that when I first got ordained, when I first decided to become a monk, I remember one of my sister, she's a Christian, she asked me, oh, wow, you want to become a monk? Yeah, fine. She said, so what is your calling? What is your vocation? I was like, what do you mean by calling? What does that mean? I look up dictionary and say, oh, calling, actually, because according to Christianity, you kind of have this inspiration or aspiration from God. If you have an urge to serve God and to help people, that's a calling. But then I told her that, well, I don't have that kind of calling, I don't have the kind of vocation, but I do have what we call it a purpose. I do have an intention why I want to become ordained. Actually, after I got ordained, I went to Taiwan for about 2 months to receive the proper training. We have the kind of the monk training camp. It's actually a camp, it's like a boot camp. So remember one of the senior monks who was our mentor, and then he asked us, the first thing he asked us was, okay, in order to be a monk, you have to have a very clear purpose. It's like your intention, your aspiration, what made you want to become a monk in the first place. In Chinese, we call it 初心. 初心, that is the first intention. What makes you want to do that? So in today's term, is actually what we just talked about, is a purpose. What is the purpose of doing this? Because we know that monkhood is actually not easy. It's tough. Well, all life is tough, but in order to maintain, to be a monk, actually it's tough. You have to go through a lot of challenges. And so we need to have a very strong intention and purpose right in the beginning for us to remember it, always remind us when we are facing any kind of difficulties in life, like chaos in life. And not only for monks, okay, if you're talking about business, like I'm sure we all know that Microsoft, okay, what is Microsoft's mission? I remember I read it somewhere, it say that Bill Gates once said that when he first set up, to build his first computer, personal computer, his goal was he wanted to make everyone to have a computer on his desk or on her desk. That is his mission. Well, right? Microsoft actually succeeded. Now, everywhere you go, everyone using Microsoft products. And how about Apple? Everyone know about the Apple company. They also, their logo is, what is the motto? Yeah, the motto is, it says that bringing the best user experience through innovative designs. Yeah, so the best user experience and innovative designs. So for some of us who have used Apple products before, may think that, but if you use it, you really love it. There's no way for you to turn back. Well, I don't know whether it's true or not, but some people really think that. Yeah, I don't know if I agree, but the point is, you see, successful companies must have a very clear and achievable goal in their mind to guide whatever they do. Even the temples are the same. Right? Take, for example, the very famous monastery in Taiwan, let's say Fagusan, yeah, the Dharma monastery in Taiwan. So their motto is to improve the quality of life and to build a pure land on earth. Okay, to improve the quality of life and to build a pure land on earth. So this is their goal, this is their purpose, this is their motto. So you can see that whatever they do, whatever the Dharma does, whatever they do, this is the goal they have in mind. Whether they start up a university, whether they have a Dharma teachings, whether they go into the community to serve people, this is what they always have in mind, a clear goal. You see? So the Buddhist, the same. To run a Buddhist monastery, you need to have a goal, a clear purpose. To run a big company, you need to have a clear purpose. The same when we want to organize, to manage ourselves. Yeah, now that we talk about management, everything about management, we manage ourselves. We need to have a clear goal in our mind, what we want to achieve, what is it that we love, what we want. So that's a sense of purpose. In Buddhism, we call that the right aspiration. Yeah, what actually motivates us to do what we are doing now. Okay, I love a quote that says, it is not about what, people are not interested. People are not interested in what we do. People are interested in why we are doing what we are doing. People are not interested in what we do. They're interested in why we do it. Now, for example, another story. It was like about, these two builders. They were cutting stones. Yeah, they want to build a building. They're cutting stone beside the road. So there was one passerby stopped by and asked them, "What are you doing?" And the first guy said, "Can you see? I'm cutting stone." And the second guy, and then the second builder said, "Well, I'm building one of the grandest monastic in history." So they are doing the same thing, cutting stones, doing the job right beside the road. One just thinking that I'm just cutting stone, but while the other thinking that, oh, I'm building the best temple in the world. One is having a goal, and one is just doing a job as a job. Yeah, just like what we said before. Are you in a shop just selling a toy, or are you selling happiness? That's make the difference. Yeah, even though we do the same thing. So that's why we said, people don't really care what we do. People really only care why we do what we do. So that's the sense of purpose that actually this kind of sense of purpose can inspire us and can inspire other people. Okay. So, now we've talked about how to set up the correct mindset, and then to have a sense of purpose. And then you might ask, okay, now what? Okay, now we've prepared the mind. So what should we do now? What is the actual advice that we can use? So the actual advice I want to give here is the last point I want to make is helping others. What is helping others? This is helping others is something that we have to put in action what we prepared before. Yeah. So how to put in action? I remember a long time ago, I watched a documentary on Discovery Channel. So there was this, like in America, we have this kind of special trained soldiers. They call the SEAL team. Yeah, they are like the toughest and the strongest, and they use the most advanced, machineries to finish, to do the jobs. Yeah. So this group of members, so the documentary showed that this group of members, they were sent to the Middle East to perform a job. Yeah, they have a duty to save some of the people who were kidnapped by some group of people. Yeah, so they have to went to the ground to search for them and to rescue them. So what happened was they got a false information. Yeah, and they went to the ground prepared to save people. They were ambushed. Yeah, enemies were around them. So people, and then they were starting to fighting, they started shooting to each other. Yeah, you can imagine what kind of situation it was. So many of them were shot. Yeah, some were very seriously injured. Some of them died. So what happened was the others, instead of running away, everyone stayed there and protect the others and pull the people who were shot out to safety. So one of this soldier, he has a camera, he was still wearing a camera on his body. So what happened was there was a footage showing him, like after he safely moved one of his body to the helicopter nearby. He put the injured body on the helicopter, and then before he went back in to save other people, he left a kiss on that people's forehead, on his body forehead. He kissed him and he said, "You'll be fine." And then he turned back, went back in to the war zone and helped other people. So this scene was actually become like something very sentimental, yeah. And in the end, this documentary, they went to interview this soldier. They asked him, "Why did you do that? You could have saved yourself. I mean, at that time you couldn't even save yourself. Why did you do that? Why do you have to risk your life to save other people, even at the time that you couldn't even save yourself?" And then without hesitation, he simply say that, "Well, because I know they will do the same for me. I know they will do the same for me." So this is a kind of trust of helping each other. That is the most important value for these soldiers to actually stay alive, to complete their mission. This is the most important value that they have to hold. Yeah. So this is helping others. So the only way when we are actually facing life difficulties actually is to help others. Yeah. I mean, let's say in today's neuroscience field, we actually prove that we actually have they have done some experiments that shows that when people actually helping other people, our body, will actually release some kind of a hormone. There are three kinds of hormones, like the dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. Yeah? These three kinds of hormones actually will give us a sense of happiness. Everyone know what dopamine is. Dopamine is something that, they make you feel happy and fulfilled. Yeah. So let's say you eat a really nice piece of cake, or some people, if they like to drink alcohol and you have a sip of alcohol, the dopamine just flush out, immediately you can feel the sense of joy in your body. So that is the dopamine. So they say that they have experiment that shows that when we're actually doing the act of helping others, our body will release these three kinds of hormone at the same time. What does that mean?
It means that helping others actually make us happier. Yeah, it's actually against our intuition, right? We know that when we're in trouble, when we couldn't even help ourselves, what we want to do is me, right? We want to focus on ourselves, get whatever we can to solve our problem. Where do I got time to actually help others? Actually, it's wrong. The way of this way of thinking is wrong. It's really the worst the situation we are in. We have to actually be more willing to help other people. So this is the time that, or this has been shown by the neuroscience, that this is a time that we actually find the human spirit, the true human spirit. Like if we, like the news I saw yesterday, like the war in Ukraine, what happened was the president asked the people in Kyiv, in the capital city of Ukraine, to hide underground in the metro station. So what happened was, and that even there you can actually sense that the war is coming. People are worried, but you will not see chaos under the metro station. People there, they stay there, take care of each other. They share their food. They share their drinking water. The young taking care of the elderly taking care of the child. So this actually came to the news that shows that even though in a war, when nobody can take care of even by themselves, they still care for others. So that shows, what does that show? It shows that we human beings, the Homo sapien, as we are the society, we are the society animal. We need to be with others in order to survive. Yeah. So talk about this. The author of the famous book Homo Sapien by Yuval Harari, right? I think the name is Harari, a famous historian. So he once make a joke in his book Homo Sapien. He said that, well, if you put a human and a gorilla, in the jungle, and you see who will survive, I'm sure you will bet on a gorilla and you never put a bet on a human, right? So that shows that we cannot survive. We cannot thrive on ourselves. We cannot thrive alone. We have to live with others. That's why helping others, especially during the hard time, that is a time that, internally, when we help others, as I said, as a science experiment show, we will release this kind of hormone that make us feel happy and make us feel more fulfilled. And this will help us to face our chaos better, to prepare us to deal with the problems better. So this is one thing. And the other thing is, together, we actually can solve the problem much more better. Yeah. So at the end, at the end of the documentary that I watched just now, he says that, well, from the behavior of the soldiers, what we learn from them is we have to understand that as a human being, anytime we try to help, the one on our left and also the one on our right. So this is the only time that we can do things right, because we cannot thrive alone. We need to depend on other people. So help the people on our left and help people on our right. So these are the things that we should help others. Yeah, so we're talking about helping others. Yeah, as I said, in Buddhism, helping others actually in general have many forms. Yeah, one is giving. Giving, you can give in terms of physical things. And also we can give in terms of giving something like companion is also a kind of giving, helping others. And also the second one is affectionate speech. Yeah, not just behavior, but the way we speak, the way we talk is a way of giving. It's a way that how we can help other people. As I said just now, when somebody in trouble, the first thing we have to do is not to give advice, but to listen. Yeah, by lending a listening ear to someone that in trouble. That is another way of affectionate speech too. That is speech without speaking. To help the people to go through this hard time, and also beneficial deeds. Like in a company, what we try to do is we try to do anything that can help other people to achieve their goal. And at the end is the fellowship, to do things together. So these are the kind of specific areas that is given in Buddhism. They talk about how we can help other people. So I like to say that this is a thing that we can use in our daily life. Yeah. The more we feel depressed, the more we feel unhappy about life, the more we should give. Yeah. The more good words or affectionate speech we should give, the more beneficial deeds we should do for other people. And the more fellowship we should find around us, make people our friends and our associate. That is the most important thing that we should do. So that's a brief summary of what we have talked about today. In a time of chaos, in order to embrace the chaos, in order for us to reduce our stress and to find a way to deal with our daily life and live a more meaningful life, first of all, we should try to at least build a correct mindset. Yeah, not only for us, we try to help people with negative thoughts to come up with becoming more positive, to see things from a different angle. Because that is a correct mindset that we should have a set up. And second one is to have a sense of purpose. Yeah, even though we might think that our job is purposeless, is boring, it's just getting a paycheck every day. But it's a switch of mind, and the moment we can see the purpose in our job, the moment we can see that how we can leave an impact on other people, that gives us a purpose of our own living. Yeah, and of course, the last one is to help others. How can we help others? Think about these three aspects in life. I'm sure this will help us to deal with the difficulties in our life. Okay, I hope I hope that my message for tonight is clear enough. So we would like to leave some time for maybe discussion or question. So
thank you, Venerable You Min, for the great sharing. I totally agree that mindset is very important. Now, given the same situation or challenges encountered, different people will have different reactions. And very often, it's all in the mind. Like you say, life is like a book and we need to know when to turn to the right page. Things come, but they do go as well. Now, of course, with this, we have come to the Q&A session. I realize that there isn't any questions in the chat box. Well, looking on the bright side, that would mean that all the audience have fully understand what you have mentioned in your talk. Or maybe they're too engrossed to type in the questions. So if you like to type in your questions now, you can still do so. So let me start with the first question. Now, a lot of us will have a lot of challenges, and sometimes things change, and sometimes our family member will pass away. So in your opinion, Venerable, what do you think is the most effective way to snap out of the grief, fear, or the sadness that we may encounter?
So you're talking particularly about having family member pass away in our home? Or?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I mean, grief is a very difficult topic, in modern psychology, in religions. We have been talking about grief for centuries, and actually I think the most important idea and the most important other thing we should have about grief is grief will never end. Yeah, grieving somebody is like remembering somebody. We should not expect grief to have a starting point and an ending point. No, this kind of thinking is not correct in today's understanding of grief stages. Like just now, we mentioned about the 5 stages of grief, right? That is a kind of very rough categories of how we understand about grief, like denial, anger, and the last one is acceptance. Well, not actually the last one, but it's like a cycle. It goes back and forth. So the first thing we understand about grief is it never goes away. Yeah, it's like we remember someone that we love so much who passed away. The kind of remembrance will never end, right? So does grief. So what we should expect is the grief transform to something more meaningful and more bearable. For more meaningful and more bearable, it transforms. Let's say, for example, in the beginning, if we just heard the news about, oh, someone, let's say someone in the family just died, in accident. Wow, that's kind of shock. Initially our response was that can be possible. It's not possible. That's a denial, right? It's not possible. But until we come to a stage that we actually have to accept it as a truth, then we become angry, right? Why me? Why the billions of people in the world? Why this happening to me? Why? And then we start to search for religious answers. Was it because I did something bad before? Was it my bad karma? So these are the stages that change, and maybe after a while, because the stages change to another kind of more peaceful and more acceptable stage. It's like acceptance. Yeah. So these are the stages, but also what should we do about it? Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. A while ago, one of my students, her husband died in a heart attack. She was young. They were young. They have young kids. So for them, it's very hard to accept it. So she contacted me right in the beginning, and I knew that she was going through the grief stages. But I also understand that, I couldn't stop her grief because there's no way that you could stop grieving. It's like there's no way you could stop somebody from remembering, the loved one. You cannot stop somebody from loving or remembering him or her. So that's the idea we should have. So what I could do was to company. Yeah. So my advice is, if we are the people in grief, find people that we trust that are willing to accompany us. Even you don't have to say anything, even you just stay together, even without saying a word, sometimes just be there is good enough to go through the processes. So what happened is, after a while, after the cremation and everything, she found out that her husband actually left a last will. He wanted to actually scatter her ashes into the sea without burying somewhere else. And she also went through a lot of shock. She said, well, for her, she could accept, actually. She wanted to follow her husband's will. But how about the family? She was worried that what if the family could not accept? What if the children, like the 2 kids, so they're still so young. They have just lost their father. How could you tell them that I'm going to throw this away, throw into the sea, without leaving anything behind for them to even to grieve? You might need something there to see, to hold. Oh, this is father. Something that actually we can remember, we can grieve upon. They want a physical thing to be there. And then she asked me, what should I do? Well, so I told her that, well, I mean, I understand that, you want to follow your husband's will. This is a way to show respect to him, and you're also okay with it. So why not? Actually, I gave her a suggestion. I said, why not? I know grief, we need a place to grieve properly, let's say at home. So I suggest her that why not we keep a separate space in the house, yeah? So this place is quiet, so you put some things that belong to your husband, you put it there, and it doesn't have to be ashes, right? It could be anything that he used, that he likes before, and you put it there. So that would be like, you call it, you give it a name, that would be the space where we grieve. So whoever misses like the father, or whoever misses the husband or misses the son, just go there, being alone or be with others, go there. There's a space for you, it's safe, it's quiet, only for you to grieve. So, and as she did, actually she did that. She actually, she made a space in the house that just purposely for grieving. So after that, I got a feedback. I think seems like things are going quite well, and she agreed that, she knew that grief is not going to end as we have we expected. Grief is not sickness. It's not like having a fever. You take some pills, the next day everything will be gone. No, it's something that is like love. They stay in your heart. Sometimes you feel pain. Sometimes you feel a bit relief. Sometimes you feel missing somebody, but it's there. It changes form. So if with this understanding, I think we'll be able to deal with grief more effectively, or we can better live with grief in this way. I think this is a positive way of understanding it. Yeah.
Thank you, Shifu. So wow, we have one question here. It's from Lim. Let me read out the question. Hi, Shifu. For helping others, people will not appreciate and we might get more hurt. Well, I guess that is sometimes. But as helping others, how we always keep positive mind. That means when they are not appreciated or when they are hurt, how do we keep a positive mind?
That's a very good question. I think the first thing we do before we help anyone is, it's hard to do, but we have to do, is not to expect anything back. That is very real kind of expectation. Yeah. Do not expect anything back from helping other people. It's true. The more we expect, actually, the more disappointed we might get. Yeah, we might expect to get back 100%. Sometimes we get back 50. Sometimes we get 0. Sometimes we get nothing. So first thing is, please don't expect. Just do it, and as follow your heart, just do it. I remember when I was working in before I ordained, I graduated. I was working in a company. There was one senior employee who was sitting right next to me. We're sitting in the same cubicle. He was sitting next to me. Everybody knew that he was famous for his bad temper, and he was one of the most. Even though he wasn't much wiser, but he was the most senior employee there, and he kind of like sometimes because he was very kind of strong, and persistent guy. So people kind of afraid of him. By bad luck, I was sitting right next to him, and by bad luck also, he always, try to pick on me. Let's say sometimes because our working hours is flexible, everybody knows that. But I don't know why somehow he wants to say, "Why are you late today? What did you do in the morning? Why didn't you come last week? Were you sick?" This kind of question. She always want to pick on me. Well, because he was the most senior one, and I, as a fresh guy, I just keep quiet, just to, whatever he says, just try to keep quiet, play low profile. Yeah, but there was one day, because he was just right next to me, I overheard him talking on the phone, and he was talking to a customer. Now, we were a design company. Yeah? We draw the 3D design using SolidWorks. There's a software we use to draw all kinds of 3D objects. So he was having a problem opening up the drawing on his computer to discuss it with the customer on the phone. Well, actually, the thing is, he has never learned to use the software before. He used another old version of software. He didn't know the new one. And the customer only sent him the new one and expect him to open it up and discuss the details of it. So he was like very embarrassed on the phone. I could tell, like, please wait a second. Blah, blah, blah. I could really sense that he was in trouble. Yeah. But what happened is, if I was, you know, if for my intuition, I was like, okay, let's see, you know, let's wait and see what happened, right? It's like kind of a way of I don't know, if that bad mind actually occurs, you know, you actually do that. But what I did was actually I did the opposite. So because I know the software very well, so I went to him, you know, I actually took my laptop, I brought to him, opened the file and show him. And then, well, so actually I saved him one thing. But actually at that time, I wasn't expect anything, you know, because you know that how he has been picking up on me, how he has been rude to other people. Actually, when I'm doing that thing, I was just out of kind of, I mean, automatically, you know, you don't think, you just say, oh, you need help, just do it without any expectation. And what happened was after that incident, after that case, his attitude to me completely changed without any expectation. Yeah, he even in the board meeting, well, I mean, we had the all engineers meeting, you know, we have once a week. He even said something good about me. It was the first time. And my supervisor, one day he came to me and said, hey, can you know what happened? You know, he said, for the past 10 years, my supervisor was working there. He never heard this, you know, this senior member say any good thing about any employee, especially you are a freshman, you know, in a company before. So what I want to say is, yeah, don't expect anything. Yeah, when you actually do, when you help others, the more we expect, actually, the more disappointed we become. But if you don't expect anything, sometimes you get surprised as a bonus. So if you believe in the Buddhist saying as the cause and effect, definitely what you do will not be wasted. Yeah, it's just that you will not come back as a form that we expected, or you may not come back in a form that's even visible. It might be in the future or another way. So believe in that. Don't expect, and you know that sometimes you have good effect in the future.
Thank you, Venerable. And the next question coming up is from May. Shifu, how do we handle someone that bears suicidal thoughts?
This is a very serious problem. Yeah, we have a lot of statistics that shows that, especially during the pandemic, there were more and more young people having a suicidal thought. Well, one blame is on the social media. Yeah, I'm sure many of us have read about articles and study about it. Social media make us depressed and make many people feel bad about themselves. So suicidal thought sometimes can appear for people who cannot take the kind of stress. So how do we handle someone? First of all, I think we can help them, yeah, but we cannot handle them. I mean, they need to help themselves, yeah, because we have to clear that. Don't be like a savior, you know, like as a monk, when I first became a monk, I always think that I'm the savior of the world. You know, whenever there's a suffering, I'll just go there and help them. You know, pour out everything from the heart, just help. Actually, it turns out it doesn't work that way. Especially for people who have suicidal thoughts, it's very difficult. It's a kind of emotional thing. So the best thing I would advise is, first of all, you have to make sure that whether that suicidal thought, how deep it is, how far it has developed, well, whether is he actually doing things to harm himself? If not yet, then you're much safer. So in that case, then I think company is the most important thing. Yeah, as I said before, hearing, lend him a listening ear, hearing about, let him talk, let the person talk, yeah? The person wants to talk, ask him why you have this feeling. Just listen, yeah. Sometimes don't give advice. Let them let out their kind of suppressed emotions. Sometimes it helps, you know, after they let go their negative emotions. But if another scenario is that if the person actually are starting to do something that can harm himself, yeah, or herself, that is the point that we have to find professional help. Yeah, I'm sure there are many professional help in Singapore and in Malaysia too. Some hotlines we have to actually get help for people who actually harming themselves physically.
Yeah, thank you, Venerable. So next coming up, we have a question from Judy To. Dear Venerable You Min, how do we deal with pain of sickness when it happens to ourselves and also towards patients who are very impatient?
So are you a medical field? Yeah. Oh boy, this is tough. Okay, let me share you a little story I heard. Yeah. Okay, about how we bear the pain on ourselves. So there was venerable Master Sheng Yan Fa Shi, yeah, from Dharma Monastery in Taiwan. So there was one story about there was one time he was doing a kind of a traditional Chinese treatment on his I forgot, is it back pain? Okay, something like that. That's not important. So what happened was the doctor accidentally dropped a piece of burning hot cloth on his back. It was burning hot. You can't even hold it with your bare hand. Yeah. So the doctor was so panicked, it dropped on the skin. You cannot just pick it up because what happened if you just pick it up, you can imagine you would tear the skin apart. That's the thing. So that kind of burning sensation, the person is having, you can only imagine the kind of deep suffering. So the doctor, so everyone around was so panicked, they started to ask Sheng Yan Fa Shi. So, oh, I'm so sorry. How are you, Sifu? Because at that time, Sheng Yan Fa Shi was already, his health wasn't really good. He was already aging. People were so worried. But out of the surprise, they see that he was still calm, he didn't even try to move. He didn't even try to, scratch or whatever. He just stayed there, let them do their things. So later, he told his disciples or students that, yeah, of course, it's very painful, definitely. Yeah. So, and then he also said that I accept the pain is just coming from the body, but because of his purely acceptance of the pain itself, he can actually divert his attention to something else. Like say, okay, what we should do now, think about what we should do now. How I can actually help other people to feel less worried. So that is actually in his mind. So what I'm trying to say is when we are suffering our body pain, first of all, we have to understand that, okay, pain is in the body. Yeah. So, but we don't have to penalize ourselves with the pain in the brain. We don't really feel, oh, why did this thing happen to me? Why me? So this is the second kind of painful experience we might experience if we think that way. So yeah, we know that there's a physical pain there. First of all, accept it. And the next thing is, what can we do? Shift our focus into action. What should we do next? Instead of hanging in the thoughts, why me? Why did you do this kind of stupid mistake? This kind of thing that actually we are making the situation worse and we are making the pain even more painful, more unbearable. So that is how to deal with our own sickness. But when you deal with patients who are very impatient, well, that's tough, yeah. But I will always say, patients who are impatient, yeah, don't take their words verbally, or don't take their words, as it is, yeah. They might scold you with bad words. They might say things that they don't mean. Why is, don't take it literally. Try to see, past the surface of their words. Understand their feeling. They must be feeling painful. As I said before, listen to them. With sympathy. Sometimes you don't have to say anything. Sometimes just say, oh, I know it's painful. Yes. That's it, or just be quiet sometimes. Or if you cannot do this, if they're becoming more and more aggressive, by all means, stay away, right? Leave for a while and come back afterwards. Yeah. Sometimes patients, when they're in great pain, they cannot control themselves. So we have to see through that. Don't get angry with them because they don't mean what they say. Lend them a hearing ear and let them feel that they are heard. Let them feel that they are understood. I think that's the most important gift we can give. Yeah, like I said, that is helping others. That's a gift. what we are giving is the listening ears. Listen to them, understand them. That is the best gift we can give them. I think that will help. Sorry, you're muted.
Oh, thank you, Venerable. I think that was the last question on our list, and it's also about time. So we now like to invite Venerable to lead us to dedicate merits.
Okay. So I want to do a little bit of different kind of dedication merit today. First of all, let me read you the lines, and you can just listen to me and try to contemplate on the meanings. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of the endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Okay, this is actually written. This is a merit dedication. This lyrics is written by Venerable Heng Shi Fa Shi from America. He's ordained under Xuan Hua Sangren. So he was one of the first disciples of Xuan Hua Sangren. So he plays the guitar. Yeah. Now I'm going to show you how he plays the guitar. So this is the lyrics that he writes, and I think it's beautiful. So I want to share with you all. Okay, let me open up the parts. So before we start, so he will play the guitar and we sing along. We will sing along with these lyrics. It's very short, about 2 minutes. So what we're doing is we can make a wish just right before we start. And then we will do a dedication so that our wish will be able to benefit those who in need. But right now, I want to actually dedicate especially to the suffering of people who are actually beyond our imagination. Our fellow Ukrainians who are actually involved in a war that nobody wanted and nobody could foresee. And we wish that people of Ukrainian and people of Russian, may you find true happiness and liberation from suffering. Of course, we strongly oppose all acts of war, and we strongly request that this invasion be terminated immediately by peaceful dialogue. And we like to pray for everlasting peace in the world. So while I turn on, when we sing along this dedication of merit, please make a wish now, and we will play the wish for yourself, for your family, and sing along.
May every living be, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, their minds away to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward, may all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Thank you very much for making the wishes together.
Thank you, Venerable. Well, we have come to the end of the talk for tonight. On behalf of People's Buddhism Study Society, I would like to thank Venerable for his sharing, the audience for the participation, as well as the organizing committee to make the talk tonight possible. We look forward to see everyone again. Good night. Amitabha.
Amitabha. Thank you very much for participation. Bye-bye. Hey, I thought we have another question or comments.
Is there? No, I guess that's the last one.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you then.
Thank you.